Morning PPA, it's Heidi Allen, founder of the Positive People Army. Happy Wednesday. Yes, it's already Wednesday. It's a really great day outside today. And of course it's Positive Word Wednesday. And the word for today is perspective. One of my favorite words, one of my favorite mindsets to actually have is perspective, because with perspective we're constantly able to see things from so many different ways, and it eliminates that tunnel vision that we get, especially when we go into any sort of conflict, when something happens to us, when we're hurt, whatever it is. On so many levels, what happens is we go into this tunnel vision, and that's all we see. Those negative cyclones that I talk about all the time, they exist when we're in conflict. They exist when we've been hurt, and we only remember our perspective instead of stepping back and seeing the big perspective to actually eliminate a lot of this stuff in our life. So I wanted to share a story because on Positive Word Wednesday, you know how much I love to tell stories. So this particular story is about two brothers. It's about two brothers. It's not my story. It is a story that I have heard. And with this particular story, these two brothers had their own farms that were adjoining. So they were right side by side, these two brothers. And day after day, week after week, year after year, these brothers always assisted each other. They helped each other with everything that they were doing. Hey, Marianne. Hey, Sabrina. Hey, Jen. So glad you're all here with me today. Thank you. So what they would do is when one farmer had a crop that came in, the brother swooped over and he would always help him out. And same goes for the other brother. Anytime something would happen on the farm, or the crops would come in, or the fields needed to be plowed, they always helped each other. But then this one particular day, these two brothers had a conflict. They had a misunderstanding. They had one little misunderstanding. And from that misunderstanding, all of a sudden it turned into this massive conflict between the two of them. It completely got blown out of proportion. And each brother only saw their side to it. Not once did they ever say, oh my gosh, you know what? I maybe need to listen to your perspective. They didn't at all, not one bit. Each brother held to their own opinion as to what had happened. And all of a sudden, this put them into such a conflict that they were no longer friends and they no longer supported each other. 40 years they had had farms side by side helping each other. And now that entire relationship was over, completely over one misunderstanding. Then one particular day, a carpenter knocks on the older brother's door. And he says, hello, sir. I'm going from town to town, just trying to make some money. I'm a carpenter. I have my own tools here. Just wondering, do you have anything that I could help you with around the farm? Do you have any jobs that need to be done? I would love to be of any assistance, and anything you want to pay me, I'm perfectly happy with. And the older brother said, you know what? I do have something for you to do. Do you see that farm next door? And the carpenter said, yes. And he said, well, that is my younger brother. And I've just about had it up to here with my younger brother. And see what he did? See that river that you can see where our farms are joining? And the carpenter said, yes. He's like, well, that used to be the tiniest little stream of nothingness that I could walk over. And now my younger brother, took his bulldozer and dug out that huge big creek that's there now. And I know he did it to spite me. So what I want you to do is that he said, do you see that big pile of wood over there by the barn? And the carpenter said, yes. He's like, I need you to build me a structure. I need you to build me a structure so I never have to deal with this conflict again, that it can be out of my life. I can ignore it. I want nothing to do with it ever again. Can you do that for me? And the carpenter said, yeah, I can do that for you. No problem. So The older brother helped him drag all this wood over. He showed him where all the nails were. He showed him where all the extra tools he may need to build this structure were. And then the older brother said, I have to go into town. I'm not going to be back till the end of the day. I can't wait for this to be done with. And the carpenter said, I'll see ya at the end of the day. So the carpenter got to work. He sawed and he nailed and he built and he built. In the hot blazing sun, he got this job done. Then the older brother comes home. The older brother comes home and he looks at the structure and he's like, what is this? What is this that you built me? And the carpenter said, I built you a bridge. Isn't that what you wanted? He's like, I didn't want a bridge. I wanted you to build me a big structure so I would never have to deal with this again. I wanted a fence. He said, you didn't tell me a fence. You just told me a structure to end this conflict so you wouldn't have to deal with it. Mr. Farmer, I built you a bridge. And as he looked, his younger brother was now walking towards the bridge, his hand outstretched. And the older brother walked over and looked at the younger brother, who they had had this awful conflict. He never ever thought he would be talking to his younger brother again. And his younger brother started to walk up the bridge. And he said, oh my, I never thought that you would make such a gesture after all of the things we have said to each other. And you have built a bridge for us to mend our ways. Brother, I am so happy to have you back in my life. And they both embraced. And then the carpenter said, good day to you, sirs. And the older brother said, you can't go. I have so many other jobs that you can do. Look what you've done. Now there's going to be more jobs than you could ever wish for because me and my brother are now talking again. He said, oh no, I must keep going and build more bridges. Don't you love that story? Don't you love that story? Guys, that's perspective. Sometimes in life, we have these terrible misunderstandings or conflicts, or we get hurt by another person or a circumstance or whatever it is that is happening. And what happens is we get such tunnel vision. We get so stuck on those negative words, those hurtful words, instead of stepping back and seeing that there's another perspective here, that instead of holding this grudge, we can just build bridges to bring us back together, whatever that is. Because by reaching out that hand, by building that bridge, other people will just be in such awe of how open-minded you are to mend the ways of what has happened. So PPA, I really hope that today you think about perspective. Maybe right now you are having a misunderstanding with someone. Maybe you're seeing something with only one set of eyes instead of just stepping back and not seeing it just with that tunnel vision, but opening it up and seeing a huge, big perspective here on exactly what maybe this could be and how you do want to go on. Because those two brothers had supported and helped each other and done so much their entire lives, and one little misunderstanding ruined something that was so incredible. So here in the PPA, that's not what we're about. Here in the PPA, we're about building bridges. We are about bringing each other together. So I hope all of you really listen to that beautiful story. I kind of love it. As you can tell, I get so swept up in these stories because the messages are so powerful. They're so incredibly powerful. Oh my gosh, there are so many hearts happening right now. Thank you so much for all of you for joining me today, for listening to this story. And I hope that it really gave you some perspective, that building bridges just brings us all together. Listen, happy Wednesday, everyone. Have a fabulous day.